My people, we are still digging deep into the history of Nigerian-Biafra War. What really happened this time?
At Aburi, we agreed that the police force would be decentralized. We agreed on this. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Aburi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word confederation came from my lips.
When we came back, and Ojukwu did not go to make the statement he made first, virtually giving the impression that we've agreed for a confederation to move apart, etc., which was really not in exactly that.
I actually believe at the end of Aburi that the problem was not Gowon, but probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were pressing for something else.
If I had had the opportunity to make my broadcast in a fast, because that was the agreement, not for him to make the broadcast first, then if I had committed myself to what he said, then there wouldn't have been any problem. But he went and said certain things that certainly looked wrong, and therefore we saw in practice.
General Ankara read over the whole report again to us at the end, asked us if we wanted to amend anything. No. At the end of all that, do now from time to time I go for the dramatic. Suddenly I picked up Gowon's hand, put it on Ankara's lap, brought my other hand, placed it on it, and I said, "General, sir, hold us together. I want to say." That once we have implemented everything we have said, I would ask you for one favor and one favor only, and that would be to be the one to propose Jack Gowon as a head of state of Nigeria.
Yes, my people, once again, I've come your way to continue our discussion concerning the issue of Nigerian-Biafra War. You know, we last time we brought to you about some things that did not have a concluding end, but this time around we are going to bring you the statements of Ojukwu, as in the utterances of Ojukwu, what he said concerning the Aburi Accord, because the Aburi Accord is the center of whatever that we have been saying, and how the Aburi Accord would have solved Nigerian problem, but it was thwarted, you know, by some people that have special interests in Nigeria project. So, and on the other hand, we are going to bring to you what Gowon said, you know, concerning the resolution on Aburi. They resolved these things on Aburi. They drank together with General Ankara, the person that chairman the agreement. They went home peacefully, but suddenly everything turned around. So that is where the problem started. Who and who turned around these problems? You will hear it from Ojukwu, what Ojukwu said about this, what really happened, and his eventual publication of Aburi. It was Ojukwu that published that Aburi so that everybody will see and hear what they discussed in Aburi. Then Gowon, like I said, he has his own part. Well, he mentioned that Ojukwu came to broadcast first concerning the agreement on Aburi. Probably that's what angered him, and the rest of the things that he said. But to me, according to Gowon, he still maintained that Ojukwu said some things that he's not supposed to say, probably outside the Aburi agreement. Now that's what made Ojukwu to publish that Aburi so that people will see. But on the other hand, if I were Gowon, instead of people going through this kind of war and the rest of them, he would have simply made his own broadcast, and if there's any error that Ojukwu has made, he will correct it in his broadcast. That is what, personally, that's my own opinion, what I think would have been the solution, instead of people going through this civil war, with all setback and all damages that Nigeria passed through. Oh my God. Well, actually, we are going to show you some clips concerning this thing, so that we will carry you along with our discussion. Please, don't be in a hurry to watch these things. Listen and listen good, and if possible, play it back again so that you understand exactly what was discussed on that discussion I'm going to play you. So let's go there.
But at the end of it, I don't want to go, because these things are all, the tapes are available, the records are there. In fact, only about 2 weeks ago, I saw a set of the records again. The transcripts are available. But we talked about the Nigerian situation. And certainly, at the end, everybody says, oh, you told them this, you did that. The fact was that our case was so clear that I actually believe at the end of Aburi that the problem was not Gowon, but probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were pressing for something else. Because we understood each other. We agreed on every single point. The drafting was, in fact, my chief secretary with 2 other chief secretaries from the other side. They said, no. And drafted and agreed. We looked at it, we agreed. General Ankara read over the whole report again to us at the end. Asked us if we wanted to amend anything. No. At the end of all that, the position was so good that actually Ankara drove Jack, Gowon, and myself to the airport. Jack was sitting on his left, I was sitting on his right. He was in the middle. And in the course of that journey, at a point, General Ankara shook his head and said, oh, thank you. Thank you. If only we can go on, everything would be all right. I believe I was the one. As I do now from time to time, I go for the dramatic. Suddenly I picked up Gowon's hand, put it on Ankara's lap, brought my other hand, placed it on it, and I said, General, sir, hold us together, I want to say something. So General Ankara put his hand on top of the 2 hands, and I said, General, I want to assure you that I am totally satisfied with everything we said. I will even go further and say to you something I did not say at the conference, and that is that once we have implemented everything we have said, I would ask you for one favor and one favor only, and that would be to be the one to propose Jack Gowon as a head of state of Nigeria.
It was a two-day conference of peers and old mates, but its aftermath produced even further controversy.
When we came back, and Ojukwu did not go to make the statement he made first, virtually giving the impression that we've agreed for a confederation to move apart, etc., which was really not in exactly that. If I had had the opportunity to make my broadcast first, because that was the agreement, not for him to make the broadcast first, then if I had committed myself to what he said, then there wouldn't have been any problem. But he went and said certain things that certainly looked wrong, and therefore we saw in practically everything he did, I think it was for to play up to the gallery, not being sincere.
At Aburi, yes, we agreed on area commands for the armed forces. At Aburi, we agreed that the police force would be decentralized. We agreed on those. Yes. We agreed even to show that we didn't separate. At Aburi, we also agreed on certain revenue formula. That's what happened at Aburi. Aburi again, because I always end up, it sounds odd today, but I always end up by saying I must have been naive, because I believed actually that would be the end. I'll confess to you, when I got back to Enugu, oh yes, I had a party, believing that probably the danger was over. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Aburi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word confederation came from my lips.
Last time you and I met was in the Pleasant Garden in Lagos, at the time when you were information chief for the Nigerian government. I had hoped to see you again, but I must say in happier circumstances than at the present. At that time, did you have any premonition, any feeling that something like this would happen?
No, I didn't have any feeling that something as disastrous as this would happen, but everyone had a feeling of impending disaster from the way the census figures were being rigged, from the way the election results were being played about with. Everybody felt that something was coming, something really ominous, but nobody could predict the depth of it.
No.
But we all had this sense of doom hanging over us. In fact, the word revolution was mentioned a number of times, but it was a strange thing. No one had ever heard what a revolution was or experienced it. But people knew something bad was coming.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you stay in Lagos for some time after the outbreak of hostilities?
Oh, yes. I stayed in Lagos nearly a month, and not the outbreak of actual fighting. But when the Ronsi regime was overthrown, there was a sort of vacuum. People didn't know what would happen next. And I was in Lagos up to that time until I started getting evidence that my neighbors were being taken off in the night and killed.
The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation. Once again, we have an opportunity to build a new nation. But we have Colonel Obasanjo, who is the commander of 3 Marine Commando, who have been able to capture a number of senior secessionist officers, and he had brought them to Lagos to see us in order to let us have the acceptance of the spirit of one Nigeria.
And I would like, therefore, to take this opportunity to say that I, Major General Philip Effiong, officer administering the government of the Republic of Biafra, now wish to make the following declaration: that the Republic of Biafra hereby ceases to exist.
Hello.
Your Excellency.
Glad to see you again.
My pleasure.
How are you?
Very well indeed.
Glad to see you again. Thank you.
Patrick Amadi.
How are you?
Excellency.
Glad to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Glad to see you again.
It's an experience.
Honestly.
So, gentlemen and ladies, we have heard it all. To me, naturally, we have been living a confederal system of government life before the white men came. It has been a natural way of existence. People were on their own, doing their business, you know, moving around to get some things that they need and return home. Some decide to settle wherever they want. So, but the point is that we have been on our own earlier before the white men came, and that being on our own is something related to confederal system of government. If you must come under one umbrella of government, that will be the best solution. And the people, the world agree that this is the best solution for Nigeria. Why should people thwart this idea? Why? Because of selfish and personal gains. See what people pass through. What I'm saying is that whether now or later, we are just buying time. We will eventually go back to confederal system or that type of system, or through federalism, the system that will allow people to breed, allow nations within the Nigerian project to determine what they want and how they will move. That is the point. Well, with this, I'm going to rest my case, but I believe that you have enjoyed this video. And if you did, please share this video. People have to be educated. You know, a lot of people, some of these people coming up, growing up, they don't know what actually happened. You know, and they need this kind of videos and books so that they will get themselves enlightened. If you don't know where you are coming from, you will not know where you are going. I keep saying these things. If you don't know where the rain started beating you, you may not know where it will stop. And that is the point. Please, thank you. I still remain Chinedu, your presenter. Thank you. I say bye for now.